From what I hear about dating apps, which I've never used, 10% of the men are sleeping with about 90% of the women. In our society, we've got Lizzo and we've got all this. These are real women and, the body positivity. That's not happening on the man's side. On
Mm-mm.
the man's side, there's the action stars, there's this model of what a man is supposed to be. And for the ones that don't measure up, a lot of the women, especially, insult them. They're beta, they're
What's beta?
incels. Are you aware of this name, incel? I
No,
don't know who came up with the name, but it's
no.
involuntary celibates. The idea being they're these young men who can't get a woman. They play games, they do whatever they do, and they complain about women all the time. They're
Yeah,
mocked and
I'm
made
not
fun
on
of.
dating apps, so I don't know. I
Well,
don't.
they're not part of dating apps. They're just part of
Oh.
the national conversation.
But you're right, though. On the women's side, there's body positivity. You have all these overweight women that, you say they're beautiful,
Yeah.
attractive.
You're
I don't
more
see.
than your physical appearance. Your
Right.
value is more than that. Is a big, big emphasis for women, not for men.
Then why is that?
Well, I mean, historically, if you go back decades, women were treated like objects, and they still are, really, in a lot of circles. Women treat themselves like objects, but a woman's worth was highly attributed to her physical appearance. But men could do what they want. They were in all the jobs. We've done a lot of work to correct that problem with women, and I think men just are naturally now as getting left behind. When was the last time you saw an ad that showed a guy with a gut and said, "This is a real man"? They're always made fun of. It's always, this is an undesirable joke of a man. We want muscular, handsome.
So I have a theory, and my theory actually drives from what Jordan Peterson said, right? So if you think about it, traditionally, men are providers. They're protectors, they're providers, and women need to feel secure around men. Well, women are nurturers, right? We're supposed to be home, take care of the husband, take care of the children, and be fertile, right? Because for a while there, if you go to Africa, they look at the female, they look at healthy. If you're a bigger male, bigger female, you look at as healthy and able to carry children, all that stuff. So women are naturally way more selective to men. They look at the men's image. If you're this big guy with the guts and with floppy with no muscles, women gonna say, well, how is this guy going to protect me and provide for me and all that stuff? But men look at women differently. They're look at women and say, well, I need this female. I'm not saying today's mentality. I think is ingrained in our primal DNA that men looking at female to procreate and female looking at guys to feel that security and be
Well, that
provided and
same
aspired.
but that same old primal, thing exists in men too. So an overweight woman is not an ideal mating partner.
That's not
It's
true.
the
In
healthy.
in
Pardon?
history, if you look at the Renaissance days in the drawings, there's a lot of women that are overweight. There were
Well, they're
actually
chubby.
looking for women
They're
that are big.
they're chubby. They're not fat. I mean, come on, they're not Lizzo fat. I'm sorry, it's the same thing.
Right.
It's the primal makeup is the same way. You're attracted to someone who's physically stronger, more
Physically stronger.
that's a theory. That's the theory based on evolution and things like that. I mean, I believe there's something to that, but I wasn't talking about that anyway. What I was talking about was how society and culture are telling us that this is okay to be this kind of a body type in a woman. Body positivity is strictly a female thing. Take any of the women who need this body positivity movement and take a comparable man, and he'll be laughed at, mocked. Think about it.
Right. No, I
And,
agree
and I
with
don't
you.
care about those guys. What I'm saying is, what effect does this have to young men growing up?
Mm.
Boys entering, manhood, and, this is what they see. Am I going to measure up?
No, I get it. That's like the movie The Whale, right? You don't look at the that Brendan Fraser gained some weight. I'm sure he got dropped out of the Hollywood because he's overweight, and he have to lose weight in order to get parts. I get it. I understand what you're saying. So as a man, you feel discriminated against with the body positivity.
I don't feel discriminated against. I don't
The
care.
equality.
As far as me personally, I
Yeah.
don't care. I'm just making a social observation. I personally think our young people are in crisis. I think the
Oh,
trans
absolutely.
phenomenon is affecting girls more, and we need to pay attention to that. Young boys, men are in crisis as well. I think more and more there are a larger population of young men who now are looking for a woman to take care of them than the other way around.
Because
And
there's no strong conviction in anybody. There's no
well,
principle,
I
right?
think it
No,
starts with confidence. I mean, we could sit here
right.
and mock them and laugh at them, but every child, take a look at your son, every child. We don't look at children and go, "Well, there's a loser right there. There's a bad person right there." No. But things happen to them as they're growing up and they're older, and we as parents, we have a great influence on our children at the younger years. Once they hit teenage years, it's the world that's forming them. So the things that they think and value and believe, no matter how well you try to isolate your children, our culture and the world is going to form them in a lot of ways. And they may
Right.
make a lot of mistakes before they come back to what the parents had taught them and say, wow, my parents were right all along. I'm expressing concern and actually expressing support for young men, older boys that are out there now. When you're a young man and you're looking at a family, say like mine, okay, we lived for decades, the financial struggle, the difficulty in building a family. How do you go from $15 an hour to being able to buy a house, 2 cars, and support kids? That's
Right.
an overwhelming proposition. If you don't have any confidence, I mean, to me, that's the number one thing that men and boys need is confidence. What is our
Absolutely.
culture doing to build confidence in men and boys? If anything, we're doing the exact opposite. We're eroding their confidence.